So you can see those nice, clear North Carolina blue skies. Well, they're about to clear up. Oh, look over there. Oh, look at that right there. Let me show you a good feature on this camera I've got now. Oh, look at that zoom in and zoom out. So let me set you right here and let's look at something. This is so cool, I don't have to walk out here. Let's zoom in right here. See those wet spots right there? There's one right there. Here's one right here. And let's see, I think we can zoom in all the way across the yard. Oh man, look at that. Look how clear that is. See those wet areas right there? And then you can see right here, this little bit of where the water runs. Right through that area right there. And then over next to my building, you can see a little wet area right there. So that's my new, it's like a camcorder type camera. I think it's a Panasonic 1500 or I don't know, HCX 1500 or something like that. But I got it for filming golf videos, so we can zoom in, and it's real super lightweight, and you kind of hold it in your hand like that. So I'm gonna use it to make grass videos too, because I kind of like it better than what I had before. But anyway, this is day number, let me think, let's see, I got seed down Sunday afternoon, then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So technically this is day number 4, and it is chilly out here. This is day number 4, and no germination yet. Turf type tall fescue. I just dodged a bullet. Really just dodged a bullet. They were calling for 1 to 2 inches of rain, super heavy rainfall in a very short amount of time. So I just knew this bare dirt renovation was going to wash away, or at least areas of it were going to wash away. But fortunately, I dodged a bullet. And we just actually got a real nice, good soaking rain out of it, which was absolutely ideal. I did ride down the road and look at it a little bit while it was raining, and I could see a handful of channels of water running here and there. So what I'll probably do tomorrow when I get off work is I'll probably come out here with just a regular old hand garden rake and walk around to those channels and just kind of rake the loose dirt that's on top. And I'll just take that rake and just kind of scatter that dirt around, because the grass seed is mixed all inside that dirt. Okay, it's not sitting on top of the ground, and we'll talk about that in a minute when I go through the renovation process. But that's kind of how I'll just fix those areas. It's super easy. Not even going to put any more grass seed down. I'm just going to kind of rake over the little small channels and cover that back up with existing dirt from, you know, around that area. All right, so by now you know I renovated my yard. This is GCI Turf Type Tall Fescue, kind of going back to my beginnings, planning to sell the house this coming spring, you know, early summer-ish. It may go into the summer, I don't know, just depends on how the new house build goes and all that. And I'll have a bunch of videos to show you then, when we're building the barn-dominium and, you know, the whole 9 yards, the yard install, irrigation install, well install, all of that. So I got a lot, and I think that'll actually motivate me a little bit to kind of make more videos, because, you know, like I said, I have not been motivated at all to make videos about grass. Golf, yeah, but not grass. So getting back out there on a new property and being able to create something from scratch, that should definitely motivate me for sure. So step 1 in the renovation process happened back in early mid-July. You know, I just totally and completely neglected the yard this year. I literally would let the grass get up 6 or 7 inches tall and then mow it right back down to 3 inches just because I didn't want to mow any grass. I was busy hanging out with my boys, my wife, busy playing golf, hanging out with my dad, playing golf with him, hanging out with my buddies, playing golf with them. So I just had zero interest in lawn care this year. So the yard was overly intentionally neglected. So July just seemed like a great time. Go ahead and spray it with Roundup, smoke it off. That way the rest of the summer I didn't have to do a dang thing to it, and I didn't. So waited till about Labor Day-ish weekend. It's September 4th is the actual date I'm filming this. So it was Labor Day weekend because I think I got the grass seed put down. Yeah, it was Sunday because I played 36 holes of golf on Labor Day. So it was Sunday afternoon I got the seed down. So, you know, Roundup, then come in here and I removed all of the existing turf. That would be the turf, the roots, and the thatch, okay? And the thatch. A little confusion on that video, but I just want to make sure that's clear for the second time. So I removed all that, got all of that kind of raked up with a bucket on my tractor, loaded it up into my dump truck, and then fortunately for me, I have a friend down the street, about 5 minutes, that I could take and the debris and dump it and, you know, get rid of it. So by definition, well, let me re-say that, by Pete's definition, I don't know what other people call it, but this is what I call a full-scale bare dirt renovation. Meaning, I'm starting the yard over, that's the renovating part, redoing, and I get the turf down, I get the surface I'm working on back to bare dirt. Meaning, getting it back to scratch, kind of like the way when the house was built. I'm assuming all this was bare dirt at one time and they come out and planted, you know, in the new housing development. You see that kind of thing where it's just a dirt yard and then you come in and see straw and then they planted something, seed or something, or either laid sod on that bare dirt. So we're down to 100% bare dirt right here. Now, you know, I've got an irrigation system in here. Not really a fan of it for a couple of different reasons. Probably gonna pull that off the website. Nobody buys them. It's super expensive. I personally ain't crazy about the way it waters, especially in a bare dirt situation, because that big, heavy water droplet. And hey, don't get me wrong, fantastic in established yards, but for bare dirt seeding, it's just going to push all that seed right out away from each irrigation head. So, you know, just not a big fan of that. But down the middle of the yard here and on that side over there where those are they green giants? I think they're green giants over there. Maybe not. Maybe they're not. I don't think they're Leyland cypress. I don't know what they are, but those green trees over there, that's what I'm talking about. That needed a row of irrigation, and right here in the very middle of the yard needed a row of irrigation. So took my Ventrac and my trencher, and I installed 2 zones of irrigation. And I went in with the Rainbird 5000 series. The one with the stainless steel, they are the exact identical heads as the GCI Turf sprinkler that I recently showed you. Identical heads, they're just underground out here. So for that sprinkler, when I say, yeah, it's a commercial grade sprinkler, they really are. In my opinion, the Rainbird are the best head out there, and that's what I used out here. And you know, when I redid this and done bluegrass, I already had a zone of Rainbird falcons along the road, and over here in this corner over here, right in front of the building, those have got Rainbird 5000 heads already there in the ground. So I didn't have to do a lot with irrigation. It was just 2 zones. It was pretty simple. So once I had my watering figured out, I come in with my Ventrac power rake, and I power raked over the entire bare dirt area for 2 reasons. One was to kind of fix any kind of unevenness, little maybe humps or bumps I had, which wasn't much because, you know, I graded this thing out really well when I renovated to Bermuda. Bermuda, man, I got Bermuda on my mind, I'm telling you. When I renovated to bluegrass, I graded it out really nice. So it was pretty smooth, but I did have a couple little kind of yucky spots that I picked up on when I was mowing. So I just went over the whole thing with the power rake, and that served 2 purposes. One, to kind of semi-level grade, cut off high spots, fill in low spots, and 2, it kind of acted like a rototiller, and left the top inch and a quarter or so of ground loose. So why do we not plant grass seed on hard ground? That is because you want the ground loose, so when the seed sprouts, the root can dig a little easier. And number 2, which is even a more important thing, I think, is when you get a heavy downpour of rain, a little lightweight grass seed is just going to wash right off that hard pan soil. So 2 good reasons, maybe some more reasons, but that's the only 2 reasons I need. So I left the top inch and a quarter or so loose. Then come out here with my ABI force and really done a fine-tuned grading. Went over the thing about 2 times in opposite directions and really got the grade on point. This piece of ground right here is as smooth and slick as it's ever been. But let me re-say that. More than it's ever been. It is graded to an absolute premium right now, and I cannot wait to stick a mower on it and mow that smooth ground. And ABI Force, you know, that's the machine I use on my ball field jobs, and as far as a fine grading machine goes, there's nothing that will touch it. It is absolutely amazing. So once to do that, I had to define my beds, okay? I did take my bed areas out about 18 inches roughly to kind of get rid of a little bit of shady area and kind of get out into the sunlight a little bit more, because you know my cryptomeria maple do create shade around the edges. And the way I did that was I pulled a string and got on my knees and measured this thing and got it absolutely spot on. Then took a little can of marking paint, marked that, and that's where the defining edges was going to be for my actual grass seed line, where my grass seed will meet the pine needles. This is very important, okay? If you're wanting clean, defined, definitive edges in your yard and you're doing a bare dirt renovation, you want to use a drop seeder, okay? That is a seeder that has a hopper. You put the seed in and it doesn't broadcast the seed out, it drops the seed straight down. So I could follow that painted line I had all the way around the property. So when that grass comes up, it's going to come up in a nice, even, clean, straight line. Now once the grass is up and I've mowed it 4, 5, 6 times, you know, and it hardens off and it matures and the grass blades start getting a little thicker and wider, and it's strong enough to handle a bed edging machine on it, I will rent a bed edging machine. I don't own one. I'll rent it from a local farm store, bring it out here, re-edge all my beds, and, you know, cut that nice little groove in there. And then we're going to go ahead and have some fresh pine needles brought in so that everything is spiffy for the sale coming up in the spring. And of course, once I put the seed down on the edges, then obviously you're going to spread the grass seed out over the entire area. Okay, I go down with 10 pounds per 1,000 square feet. This is 14,000 square feet of turf, so I use about 140 pounds of grass seed. I use my Stinger Gateway, and quick thing on that, you pro guys, I am absolutely loving it. That thing spreads grass seed and fertilizer like an absolute champion. The spread pattern on that thing is just mint. Now, once I got the grass seed down, I don't think I filmed this part, but if I did film it, you'll see it here in a second, but I don't think I did. But there's this Vibraflex that goes behind the ABI Force. It's just little small teeth that stick down, kind of like a nail drag. If you can imagine having I'll tell you what it's like. It's like a rake. Okay, imagine a rake that's 6 foot wide. That's basically all it is. And about an inch under this loose dirt, I have hard pack. Okay, so I call it hard pack. It's not super hard, but it's harder than loose dirt. So the rake, if you were to drag a rake, the rake is going to ride over top of that hard pack, and all the loose dirt is just going to filter through the rake. Okay, you follow me? So that's the same concept I used with this with the Vibraflex behind the ABI, and I just kind of rode around the yard and kind of mixed the dirt and the grass seed in all together. No, it's not going to bite pieces of dirt and drag it over here, therefore moving the seed from one spot to, it's not going to do that because the ground was dry and very loose. So it's just like you take a rake and drag it through loose dirt and you leave that dirt behind, but the rake keeps coming. It basically just kind of mixes the grass seed in with the dirt. And once I did that, next to last step, second to last step, I went to Cultipack it. Cultipacker is a heavy drum type thing. I've got one on my Ventrac, and you just kind of ride over the whole yard and just kind of press the grass seed down into that dirt and firm up the surface a little bit. Okay, yeah, the ground's still loose because it's not like a plate packer. It's not that kind of packing. It just kind of sets in that top inch of ground and just kind of presses that seed down into the dirt and just kind of firms up the surface a little bit, because watering it, I'm gonna have to go to my building even though I'm watering it, and you don't want an inch of loose dirt completely, because if you do that, you're gonna track it up really, really bad. And then when you go to mow it, if you've got a lot of loose dirt left behind, you're going to put tracks in the yard when you mow, because the mower's going to sink in that loose dirt. So you want it firmed up is the last step. Firm it up with a roller, cultipacker, whatever you want to call it. You just need to press that loose dirt back down and kind of seat the seed into that dirt and leave that surface firm on top. Then I went down with my GCI Turf 2808. We do have a 2555, okay? It's not registered in all the states. It's registered in about half of the states. I've got a truckload on order. It's en route to us. When we get it, I'll post that new product on the website, okay? And that's kind of what I'm calling a starter fertilizer. But man, I don't want y'all to get wrapped up in that name. You can use any fertilizer to start the life of grass. You don't even have to put down fertilizer. I personally like to put the fertilizer down with the grass seed, whether it's just a aerating and overseeding or if it's a bare dirt renovation. That way when that new grass comes up, it's got the nitrogen right there ready for it to jump out of the ground screaming bloody murder, because I want to mow this thing 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 times before any chance of frost hits us. And the only reason I want to do that is so it matures. Mowing makes the grass thicken and mature. So I want a mature stand of turf going into the winter. Or let me reword that. I want a mature looking stand of turf going into winter and not a bunch of little baby grass. So that's why I put the fertilizer down with the seed. That way it's just there and it's available. As soon as that grass sprouts, it can take in that nitrogen and start going. But if you're on my email list, if you're not, get on it. When that 2555 is ready, I'll send it to you. Best I remember, it's 50% slow release in and 50% quick, I believe. Don't hold me to that, but I think I've had a lot going on lately, so I can't remember my butt from holding around right now, to be honest with you. And last but not least, I went and took the Stinger Gateway and sprayed Tenacity Mesotrione over the entire area. Okay, that kind of acts as a pre-emergent in a way, and it is safe to spray directly over top of grass seed. But I do want you to know that even though you spray it with a pre-emergent Tenacity, Mesotrione, whatever you want to call it, that is no guarantee that weeds won't come up. I guarantee you, I'd be willing to bet you $100 that before the winter is over, I'm going to have weeds out here, okay? Weed seeds are in the dirt. They are there, they've been there, and they will always be there. And when you open the ground up and expose dirt to the sun, and you add a little bit of water to it, it is a breeding ground for weeds. I want you to ride down the road and I want you to find a plowed up field that a farmer has plowed up. Okay, this needs to be a road that you frequently travel, and they've turned that ground over to where it's bare dirt. Okay, and I want you to pay it, and if they're not going to plant anything in that field, I want you to pay attention to that field over the next course of a month or 2 months or whatever, and you tell me what comes up in that field. It's going to be weeds. Well, your yard's no stinking different. There are weed seeds everywhere. I guarantee you, next spring, I'll probably have a problem with Poa annua, okay? Maybe I got all of it out when I had the bluegrass. Maybe I didn't. I don't know. That's the good thing about using the grass seed like what we sell, is it goes through a strenuous process to make sure it doesn't have any weed seed in it, because we don't want to add more weed seed to what we're putting on the ground, through what we're putting on the ground, than is already there, because there is already a plethora of weed seed in this dirt and that dirt right there. I have no doubt in my mind. That's just why you need to be on a good program, a good weed control fertilizer program. That way you take care of that stuff as it arises. Now, once we get the fescue up and thick and lush and dense, get the weeds under control, then you don't see a lot of weeds, because the fescue keeps the ground shaded out and it's hard for weeds to germinate. And then on top of that, I'll be putting down a pre-emergent on this in February and April of next year. So all those kind of things help to go to control the weeds. But I don't want you going into a bare dirt renovation thinking 100% grass is going to come up, when that rarely is the case. I mean, it's ultra rare that you do a full-blown renovation and it come in perfect and it come in with no weeds, because that just don't happen. Reality is reality. What are some of the consequences that could potentially happen because I've done a full-blown renovation? Well, number one is what I just said. I could have woken the Poa annua beast right here, because I've had some in this back area right here, but I did work super, super hard, and it hasn't been back here for about 2 years. So will it come back? I don't know, but I have opened the door for that to happen. Number two is the weather. Okay, we're not guaranteed light, perfect rains like I just got right now. It was absolutely dodging a bullet for me, and this was a perfect rain for my renovation. But you're not guaranteed that. any day you could come in here and get a torrential downpour and it just absolutely destroy my renovation. I am well aware of that, and I'm also ready to fix it if it happens. So I don't want you going into a renovation thinking everything's going to be hunky-dory and just absolutely perfect, because a lot of the times renovation don't work like that. I'm not saying it won't happen in a perfect way and everything go just right. You get a perfect stand of grass and you start mowing and everything's great. It just, my experience with it in 22 years of doing this for a living is it don't work that way. So I just want you to be prepared in your mind and in your pocketbook and with your time that you might have to fix some things in your renovation. The other consequence of this is your neighbors might not like you as much because you're going to be dominating the entire neighborhood, right? You're going to be smoking every yard on the corner. When husband and wives are walking down the street, the wife is going to say, honey, how come my yard don't look like that? How come our yard don't look that good? That's a consequence, because you're going to have to hear it from that husband. Hey, Pete, why'd you go do that to your yard? Because you're smoking everybody again. So get ready. I'm telling you, it'll happen. So it might be a minute before I put another video up. I'm going to renovate my yard around the house, the main yard. I'm not going to film that because the process I'm going to do to this turf over here in my main yard is absolutely identical to what I'm going to do back here. So I'm going to spend that time I would have been filming and editing and all that. I'm going to spend that time to myself and my boys and my family and playing some more golf. And then, I don't know, maybe a month or so from now, we'll come back and we'll do some drone shots and flyovers, and we'll do a couple of mowing videos and stuff like that. And I'll kind of show you the aftercare. And I mean, all it is putting out a couple more fertilizers, one in the fall and one in early winter. And that's pretty much it for the rest of this year. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed. I'll check you later.